There is a government benefit paying up to £5,959 a year, tax-free, to people over state pension age. It is called Attendance Allowance. And according to independent analysis, roughly 1 million people who qualify are claiming none of it. Not because they were turned down, because they never applied. By the end of this video, you will know exactly whether it applies to you or to someone in your family, what it pays, and how to claim it. You will also learn about the 2 words that sink more of these claims than anything else. 2 words that are probably the first thing you would naturally write on the form. That is coming later, and if you remember one thing from this video, it should be that part. First, why you have never had a letter about this. The Department for Work and Pensions does not write to people who qualify. It does not ring. There is no automatic check when you reach state pension age and no reminder afterwards. The rules simply sit on the government's website, and the money sits unclaimed. The only difference between the people receiving it and the people missing it is that somebody told them it existed. Today, that is what this video is for. Everything you are about to hear was checked against the government's own pages on gov.uk this week, and the sources are listed under the video. If you want your money news checked against the actual rules, rather than shouted at you, subscribing helps. This channel does one of these deep checks every week. So, number 1, what attendance allowance actually is. Attendance allowance is a payment for people over state pension age who have a health condition or disability that means they need help looking after themselves, or someone keeping an eye on them for safety. It is paid at 2 rates. The lower rate is £76.70 a week. The higher rate is £114.60 a week. Over a full year, that is just under £4,000 on the lower rate and £5,959 on the higher one. Which rate you get comes down to one question, a question about nighttime, and we will get to it in a moment. Now, the part that surprises almost everyone. Attendance allowance is not means tested. Your savings do not matter. Your income does not matter. You can own your house, you can have money in the bank, you can have a private pension. None of it is looked at because the benefit is about your health, not your wealth. It is also tax-free and it does not reduce your state pension by a single penny. Hold on to that, because later we will see that it actually works the other way around. This payment can quietly increase what else you're entitled to. Number 2, who qualifies? And this is where the million missing claimants come from, because most people picture the wrong person. Ask anyone who attendance allowance is for, and they will describe someone in a wheelchair or someone with a full-time carer. That is not what the rules say. The government's own wording is this: you qualify if you have a physical disability, a mental disability, or a health condition, severe enough that you need help caring for yourself, or someone to supervise you for your own safety. Needing help washing or dressing counts. Arthritis that makes the stairs dangerous counts. Memory problems that means someone should check you have taken your medication. That counts. Being unsteady enough that a fall is a real risk counts, even if you have not fallen yet. And here is the detail that changes everything for people who live alone. The test is whether you need the help, not whether anyone actually gives it to you. If you struggle through it by yourself every day because there is nobody there, as far as the rules are concerned, you still need the help. You do not need a carer to claim. Nobody has to be looking after you. If anything, the people managing alone are precisely the ones this payment was designed for. There are 2 conditions on top. You must have needed that help for at least 6 months, and you must be over state pension age when you claim. There is one exception worth knowing. If someone is nearing the end of life, the claim is fast-tracked, and it is paid at the higher rate without the 6-month wait. Which brings us back to the nighttime question. The difference between the 2 rates is simple. If you need help or supervision during the day or during the night, you get the lower rate. If you need it during the day and the night, that is the higher rate. When you fill in the form, that distinction is worth being honest about. What happens at 3 in the morning matters to your claim as much as what happens at 3 in the afternoon. Before we get to the form, number 3. The 3 groups of people who cannot claim this, because one of them catches families out every year. First group, anyone already getting personal independence payment or disability living allowance. You cannot have both. Those benefits already cover the same ground. Second group, if you live in Scotland, attendance allowance has been replaced. You apply for something called Pension Age Disability Payment instead. Same idea, similar rules, different name, and a different system. The link is in the description. Third group, and this is the one that surprises people. If you live in a care home and the council pays for your care, you cannot usually claim. But, and it is a big but, if you pay your own care home fees, you can. Self-funders are entitled to this money, and an awful lot of them have no idea. If someone in your family is paying their own care home bills right now, this section alone could be worth nearly £6,000 a year to them. Pause here and think about whether that is anyone you know. Seriously, this is the group that misses out most. One more thing. This benefit is not. It does not cover mobility needs. There is no mobility component for pensioners, and needing help to get around on its own is not what the form is asking about. What the form wants to know is whether you need help with personal care or supervision to stay safe. Keep that phrase in mind, because it is about to matter. Now, number 4, the form. This is the most important section of this video, so if you only remember one part, make it this one. The claim form is long, over 30 pages. And here is what most people do not realize. In most cases, nobody examines you. There is usually no medical assessment. An assessment only happens if your answers make your situation unclear, which means the decision about your claim is made almost entirely on paper by someone who has never met you, reading what you wrote. The form is not a formality. The form is the claim. And this is where those two words come in. The two words that sink more attendance allowance claims than anything else are, I manage. Think about how your parents' generation answers questions about their health. How are you getting on with the stairs? Oh, I manage. Can you still get in and out of the bath? I manage. It is dignity and it is habit, and on this particular form, it is a disaster. Because if you write that you manage, the person reading it has no choice but to take you at your word, and the claim is refused. Charities like Age UK, who help people with these forms every day, give the same advice again and again. Describe your worst days, not your best ones. Say how long it actually takes to dress. Say what the bathroom is like on a bad morning. Say whether you have fallen or nearly fallen. If the pain means it takes you 40 minutes and a rest to get dressed, that is the sentence that belongs on the form. This is not exaggerating. Understating your situation is just as inaccurate as overstating it. You are simply lying in the direction that costs you £6,000. Here is an honest question. If your mum was filling in this form, would she describe her worst day? Or would she smile and write that she is fine? Tell me in the comments who in your life would talk themselves out of this money. I suspect every family has one. Number 5. What this unlocks. Because attendance allowance has a second life that almost nobody mentions. Getting attendance allowance can increase your entitlement to other things. The government's own page says it plainly. You could get extra pension credit, extra housing benefit, or a bigger council tax reduction. Why? Because once you receive it, the calculations behind those benefits treat you as having extra needs. And for some people, the knock-on money is worth more than the allowance itself. On top of that, if someone does help look after you, your award can open the door to carer's allowance for them. One successful form, several payments. That is why this video calls it a gateway, and claiming costs nothing. The form is free from gov.uk, or by ringing the Attendance Allowance helpline. Age UK and Citizens Advice will help you fill it in, for free, and they are very good at it. If you ever see a company offering to claim this for you for a fee or for a cut of the money, close the tab. Nobody needs to be paid a percentage of your benefit to post a form. So, to close the loop from the start of this video, the reason a million people are missing this money is not the form, and it is not the rules. It is the picture in their head, the belief that attendance allowance is for someone worse off than them. Someone in a wheelchair, someone with a carer. The rules say otherwise. If you are past state pension age and daily life takes help, supervision, or a level of effort it did not used to, you are exactly who this is for. Spend 10 minutes on the eligibility page this week, for yourself or for the person you thought of a few minutes ago. Next week, this channel takes the same magnifying glass to pension credit, the claim that switches on 8 other discounts that a million pensioners also miss. If attendance allowance is the door, pension credit is the corridor behind it. That video is the natural next step after this one.